day, everyone. My name is Rich Chester, and I'm the Director of Business Intelligence at LPA Software Solutions. It's my pleasure to be with you today to answer the question, what is IBM Cloud Pak for data? Now, this mini webinar is pre-recorded, and so I will not be able to answer any of your questions in real time. But I would still encourage you to enter your questions via the WebEx chat feature, and I promise to answer all of your questions via email after the webinar is over. Our agenda today is first going to talk in general about what IBM Cloud Paks are, and then a bit more specifically about IBM's Cloud Pak for data. I'll delve into the applications that are available by the Cloud Pak for data platform. We'll talk a bit about why the Cloud Pak for data platform may be the right platform for you over a traditional deployment method of an on-premise install of, say, Cognos Analytics or a typical SaaS implementation. We'll talk a lot about the Cognos Analytics connector for Cloud Pak for data. Since we don't have live questions today, I put together some questions I thought you might have, and then I'll end with a big thank you for spending some time with me today. IBM Cloud Paks are, in their simplest form, a collection of software. But that's much too simple because it's containerized software. Containerized being a methodology, a technique for creating software in a collection of microservices in, if you will, a container that contains the definition of that microservice plus all of the pieces, parts that we would normally think of as operating system components to implement that. So it has no more or less in the container than it takes to implement that piece of code, that microservice. Consider that you string a bunch of these microservices together, and we can call that an application. Then you can imagine how applications on a platform that supports these containers could be bundled into a collection of enterprise-ready solutions. And that's what a Cloud Pak is. It's all based on open technologies. And as a result of being based on that kind of set of technologies, it's going to run on a platform that is also open. And specifically for IBM's Cloud Paks, they run on Red Hat, specifically taking advantage of the Red Hat OpenShift product to do the coordination and integration of the various containers, and the overall management, if you will, provides you the single cockpit needed to be able to manage the different applications that have been collected into the Cloud Paks. Now, on top of OpenShift and supporting all of the containers that make up a collection of applications is a collection of IBM middleware and just common services that help with the overall management. This picture kind of depicts that all of the Cloud Paks, whether it's for applications, for data, for integration, automation, and so on, do indeed run on OpenShift. So OpenShift is the environment in which all of this containerized software can run, and also, if you'll allow me, shift from server to server, scale across multiple servers, using any cloud technologies that you wish, and specifically intermixing, mixing and matching the cloud technologies at your disposal. I believe that a lot of you listening today are already using more than one cloud. You have some Azure deployments, you have some AWS deployments, you have some IBM cloud deployments, and so on. The thing that you're probably finding is that you don't have one cockpit to manage them all. And moving from Azure to Microsoft or from Microsoft to IBM is non-trivial. The whole notion of the Cloud Pak platform, the technologies on which these different collections of enterprise applications have been bundled, is that with this hybrid cloud environment of yours, your private cloud, various and sundry public cloud offerings, this gives you a cockpit, a centralized control panel to manage all of the applications deployed across all of those clouds. In addition to being able to implement, deploy, and scale these applications from IBM that have been bundled into these Cloud Paks for data, for integration, for security. So with that as a backdrop for what a Cloud Pak is, let's delve into what is a Cloud Pak for data. So this is a data and AI platform. So if you will, IBM looked through the stack of technologies they have, plus some open technologies, and assembled a collection of those and gave it the name Cloud Pak for data. Of course, all of them running on top of that OpenShift architecture that I showed in the previous slide. The collection here was intended to facilitate organizations collecting, organizing, and analyzing data. And more specifically, or perhaps as importantly as analyzing the data in a traditional means and a dashboard, potentially in a report by adding the Cognos analytics technology to the stack. It's all about introducing AI, infusing AI into the application stack, making AI very much an integral and integrated part of the overall platform, as you'll see when I go through the different components that come with the platform, as well as the components you can add on to the platform. AI is a pervasive concept. This is that collection of technology. This is that collection of what comes out of the box. That's the left-hand side, what we'll call the base platform. And then the right-hand side is known as cartridges. These are add-ons. This is the a la carte menu of once you have invested in the base platform, you could add on top of that platform these additional technologies. Now, I know that when I took a look at this collection of technologies, I wasn't 100% sure which each of these was. I clearly am very familiar with Cognos Analytics, and I had a reasonable background in Watson Studio and in Data Stage and some of the others. But if you're like me, some of these are brand new to you. So I thought I'd give you just a little bit of information about several of these. I'm not going to go through each and every one. I think that we are all capable of Googling these terms as needed, but it might be worth spending a few minutes just going through a couple of them. For example, DB2 Warehouse, that's an AI-ready data warehouse to run on clouds, private clouds, public clouds, managed again through this Cloud Pak platform. So it actually doesn't matter which cloud it's deployed on, and moving it from cloud to cloud is straightforward. Data virtualization is one that really intrigued me when I looked it up. The notion here is, and you might be familiar with it, you have a lot of data, and that data is all over the place. It's in various and sundry silos. And there's probably people in your organization who know some or all of the locations of that data and what it contains. But having individuals know that doesn't necessarily make it easy for any individual developer or any individual analyst or data scientist to find what they need, or to even know the data exists and what drivers to install and how to access it. Data virtualization gives you a global, logical data layer that effectively presents all of your enterprise data sources in a single repository. It manages the security, it manages the governance, and it makes getting access to your data far less dependent on tribal knowledge. And that comes out of the box with the platform. IBM Streams is an application that ingests and analyzes information from real-time sources. So think about a technology specifically built, purpose-built, to handle real-time feeds, let's say from the Internet of Things, is baked into the platform. The Watson Knowledge Catalog is, again, to let users discover the data assets you have. It lets you curate the definitions of those data assets. It lets you categorize those data assets. So it's a repository of knowledge about your data assets that the virtualization engine is bringing to bear through a single interface. The information analyzer, the InfoSphere product, that's going to evaluate data quality and structure across all of those heterogeneous data sources. It's going to let you understand data inconsistencies. It's going to tell you about data redundancies. And it's even going to give you a certain amount of information about maybe the best choices for structuring that data as you bring it to bear for analysis. I mentioned Watson Studio. That's an integrated development environment, an IDE that makes it easy to create AI models, to manage them, to train them, and then ultimately to deploy them to create AI-powered applications. You see, AI is everywhere in this. The OpenScale product is going to let you automate and operate your AI, quote unquote, at scale. It's going to so that it can run across the largest organizations as opposed with bandwidth, with performance, with the power, if you will, to respond in real time using the AI that you've defined. Let's say with Watson Studio that you're making pervasive in your customer-facing applications. Let's suppose. And then the open source management tool on the left-hand side that comes out of the box with the Cloud Pak for Data platform, that is going to give your developers, since a lot of us, especially the larger organizations, are doing our own development still. And in fact, a lot of us have deployed this notion of containerized software and managing it with Kubernetes and all of those good things. This is a repository for those developers to know which open source packages have been approved by your organization. It even allows collaboration across your developers so that they can actually comment on and highlight on different open source packages, but essentially allows you to manage the risk of using open source by having a central repository of approved packages for use by your developers. So the left-hand side, when you invest in the Cloud Pak for Data concept, that is what you get for your initial investment in the platform. Now, on top of that, you can add cartridges. Now, one of those cartridges is IBM Cognos Analytics that you could add on top. And we're going to delve a little deeper into that in a moment. I do want to point out, though, in the base platform, Cognos dashboards are listed. So this is the Cognos dashboard capability. If you are a current Cognos Analytics user, you are familiar with the new Cognos dashboard. I say new, but it's been out for a few years now. But the Cognos 11 dashboards feature, that in and of itself, nothing else in terms of like reports or explorations or that sort of thing. But the dashboard feature itself is an out-of-the-box item. So if all you use to visualize the results of your data science that you've built with Watson Studio or that you've gleaned through the machine learning tool, using your data that's been virtualized and so on. If you use dashboards to visualize that data, then you've got that tool in the base product. On the other hand, on top of these base products is some add-ons that you might choose from the menu, like full-on Cognos Analytics. Perhaps the Watson Assistant. So the Watson Assistant technology lets you build and then deploy conversational interactions. I think chatbot oversimplifies it, but I think we all are familiar with the concept of a chatbot. Take a chatbot with AI and a level of sophistication, and then perhaps we're getting closer to what Watson Assistant lets us build. The Watson Studio Premium, what does that add over Watson Studio? Well, it's really three things. It's SPSS Modeler, it's the decision optimization tool, and a Hadoop Hadoop execution engine. That is what comes when you add the cartridge of the Watson Studio Premium. Planning Analytics, by the way, is coming soon as a cartridge. So just like a Cognos Analytics full-on deployment, managed across that platform with all of the features on the left using the OpenShift Red Hat and this hybrid cloud, any server in any cloud will do. Planning Analytics is also coming to that same technology, to this Cloud Pak for Data technology. Now, why might you leverage a Cloud Pak for Data versus a more traditional deployment method? Buying the products that I laid out for you on the previous slide individually and installing them, perhaps just buying a Cognos Analytics or a Planning Analytics on a SaaS environment. What makes the combination that Cloud Pak for Data represents most valuable? Well, first it starts with this notion of data virtualization. So the idea that you have one place to go to manage your data asset access, your security to it, the visibility of it, the interface to it, the governance of that access in one place. IBM Labs have found that the data virtualization approach baked into Cloud Pak for Data can actually provide up to 40 times faster access to your data than a traditional federated approach. The governance of said data can't be overstated in terms of the combination of technologies that enable data privacy, data discovery, the curation of your data, the ability to create rules and manage those rules, implement those rules in a centralized and scalable way so that you can satisfy compliance requirements. And the compliance requirements can be proven to be satisfied through an individual platform, and you haven't got to prove it for each and every individual platform. Metadata management in a single way, allowing your end users to quote unquote shop for data in a single way is part of what this Cloud Pak for data transformation, if you will, that gives you from a searching for data, from finding the right data quickly so that I can answer the questions I need to and I can get on with implementing those answers is a big part of what Cloud Pak for data can bring. The whole notion of introducing AI, artificial intelligence or augmented intelligence, into your day-to-day, building the applications, building the models, operationalizing those models, building trust in those models, transparency in those models, actually having the environment give you the information required to develop a level of confidence in the predictions that the models are presenting is another big part of why Cloud Pak for data can add some value. And then finally, the management across all of the different cloud technologies that you might find reasonable, whether that's your own private cloud, whether that's a cloud from a third-party vendor like IBM or AWS or Microsoft. This notion that there is a single platform built on open source technologies using the containerized software approach that virtually all commercial software is going to be adopting over the next 10 years or so. High availability, a single plane, a single cockpit for system management that you can scale as needed. You can move from cloud to cloud as needed, and it's built in AI and runtimes. That's why you might choose a Cloud Pak for data, is that all of that comes together in a fully integrated fashion out of the box. Now, most of you know me as the Cognos Analytics guy, and well, I'm still that guy. So I'd like to spend a few minutes talking to you about some more specifics relative to the Cognos Analytics cartridge available in Cloud Pak for data. If you were to purchase the Cognos Analytics cartridge, this would give you the full set of features of Cognos Analytics. Now, if you are not a Cognos Analytics user right now, the full set of features I'm talking about is reporting, scheduled reports, bursted reports, report outputs to PDF or Excel or to HTML, and so on. Dashboarding, storytelling, and explorations. The full suite of visualization and built-in tools for surfacing insights in Cognos Analytics. It supports the dynamic query mode to access databases. You can see the list of databases there. From a data modeling perspective, it supports two tools, the Framework Manager tool, which would be provided to you as a client tool, and the Data Modules tool, which is a web-based metadata tool. Both of them allow you to organize your data assets, create relationships between entities, tables across multiple data sources, add calculations, add data level security, and so on, to bring data to bear for use in reports and dashboards and stories and explorations. When you install Cognos Analytics in general, you need a content store database, a database in which all of the objects you create in Cognos Analytics are stored. With the Cloud Pak for data cartridge of Cognos Analytics, you will get automatically a DB2 content store database. And another thing provided by the Cloud Pak for data platform is the authentication source used to define users and authenticate users to Cognos Analytics. Now, if you're a current Cognos Analytics customer, I imagine you have a number of questions. So I tried to capture what I thought would be the questions that I would have if I were in your shoes. But I do want to reiterate my invitation for you to go ahead and enter any questions you have in the WebEx chat feature. As this is a pre-recorded webinar, I won't be able to answer any of them live, but I will absolutely answer all questions that you guys submit via email after the webinar airs. But to hopefully answer some of your questions, let's go ahead and look at my list here. The first is this a full-on version of Cognos Analytics that you would get available in the cartridge? And the answer is yes, but I want to be a little bit more precise. So I want to talk about maybe not technical limitations, but what's in the box and what's not in the box, if you're familiar with the full suite of capabilities and the on-premise version of Cognos Analytics. So we now have 3 deployment options for Cognos Analytics. We have on-premise, we have the SaaS offering from IBM, where IBM presents Cognos Analytics to you on a subscription basis in the IBM Cloud, and of course, Cloud Pak for data with the Cognos Analytics cartridge. Now, the most feature-rich of those is the on-premise deployment. Why? Because the on-premise deployment includes a number of technologies that were introduced a long time ago, because Cognos Analytics is based on a product called Cognos ReportNet that was introduced 16 or 17 years ago. As you can imagine, there have been many components, many features, many functions that have come and gone in that time. And to facilitate upgrading, the on-premise environment has included most, if not all, of the features from way back when, all the way up through and including Cognos 11.1. It is the most feature-rich. So it includes a lot of components that I'm going to refer to as legacy components. Components that if I were a brand spanking new Cognos Analytics customer, I would not need to succeed. So if we think about it that way, the SaaS offering and the Cloud Pak for data offering of the Cognos Analytics product omit those legacy components. For those in the know, that would mean there is no compatible query mode. The legacy studios, Query Studio, Analysis Studio, PowerPlay Studio are not included. No dynamic cubes are part of either the SaaS or the Cloud Pak for data cartridge of Cognos Analytics. File system access is not available in either the SaaS or the Cloud Pak for data environment. Now, for Cloud Pak for data CA cartridge specifically, the product roadmap does include, at least the one that was shared with me, included adding legacy studios back in, the ability to use transformer cubes back into the cartridge. I don't know the timing of those changes, but it's on the roadmap that's shared with me, with all of the caveats that roadmaps change all the time. I did just want to mention that. But on-premise has all of the legacy plus new features. The Cloud Pak for data cartridge and the IBM Cloud SaaS offering of Cognos Analytics do not include those legacy components. Now, in terms of licensing, on-premise has 2 means of licensing. The SaaS offering has 2 means of licensing, and son of a gun, so does the Cloud Pak for data Cognos Analytics cartridge. And the 2 schemes for licensing are power-based and user-based. So in the world of on-premise, we talk about licensing based on the size of the server on which you place Cognos. That's known as a PVU style licensing, a processor value unit. And what it effectively means is you buy Cognos Analytics, you install it on an infrastructure of a certain size, and all the users that fit can use that infrastructure. There's no upper limit defined for the number of users that leverage that tool. Or you could go with named users, where you could buy 27 users specifically, and then the infrastructure size is not critical to the license compliance. There is a similar scheme, a similar licensing approach, I should say, to the Cloud Pak for data Cognos Analytics cartridge, where you can size it by VPC, which is the power unit in this Cloud Pak world, or by named users. So you do have both options with the Cloud Pak for data cartridge for Cognos Analytics. And then finally, how would I migrate? Is there a migration path? Is there some defined methodology and licensing approach that would allow me to migrate over time, to slowly in a controlled fashion move my on-premise Cognos Analytics use to a Cloud Pak for data Cognos Analytics cartridge use? And the answer is yes. That program exists. That would be something that who your salesperson could talk to you about. Now, speaking of salespeople, LPA would love to be your partner in your journey to IBM Cloud Paks, and specifically for IBM Cloud Pak for data. If anything I've told you today piques your interest, makes you think that a Cloud Pak for data solution approach is the right approach for you, LPA can help. We can help you make that assessment to come up with the justification for leveraging a Cloud Pak for data. We can help you determine whether or not the Cloud Pak solution, with or without the Cognos Analytics cartridge for that matter, is right for you. If you are interested in the Cloud Pak cartridge for Cognos Analytics, we can help you understand how you might migrate, what components of the quote-unquote legacy features you might still be leveraging in on-premise, and build you a plan for how you would migrate off of those legacy features to be fully on to the latest and greatest features contained in Cognos Analytics. We would love to earn your business. The best way to get started, if you'd like to have LPA partner with you on this journey, is to send an email to sales@lpa.com. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for attending this short webinar. I look forward to answering your questions, and I hope to be able to be back with you again very, very soon. Thanks so much.